podcast. And we're just going to wait a second here as everybody jumps in. And we're live. There we are, waiting for Trish to jump in. Okay. So I've got a special surprise for everybody today. And JT is here, obviously.
Hello.
And I'm gonna be first, JT, that's a cool shirt, bro. Where'd you get that shirt?
Oh, I got it from my friend Demon Racers. Got it at his shop.
Yeah, Demon Racers. Yep, there it is. Hello, operator. Can I speak to the moon? Love it.
Got Richard Nixon here. Got the cord is the rocket.
It's great. That's hilarious.
It's perfect for letting people know that no, we don't believe that Artemis just got back from outer space yesterday.
No.
Have you seen some of those videos? You know that one French guy, I forget his name, but he did a pretty good video. You know, one thing to think about, like that this thing was coming 25,000 miles an hour, right? Supposedly.
On fire.
Going through something, what did they say? How hot was it supposed to get up to around this thing where it melted off?
Really hot.
The whatever the shell of it was. Wouldn't it be steaming in the ocean when it landed?
Yeah, it would be. Probably would be.
It'd probably be pretty hot. How would they not get cooked in the inside of that?
Magic. They use magic.
Hollywood magic, as I was talking about. You saw that video I just made, right?
Dude, that was hilarious, bro. Like, of course they called it Artemis. Are you kidding me? Dude.
Yeah, so yeah, if you guys aren't aware, I posted a video on my socials that I don't know if she's in here, but I know that somebody messaged me the other day. I guess her name she goes by Labella Mina, I think, on Instagram. So she messaged me that in the movie Fly Me to the Moon, which is about the Apollo mission, Apollo 11, and during that, like, there's a Woody Harrelson's character works probably from some 3-letter organization, and he's connected with Nixon, and he's saying, here's what we're going to do. We need a backup plan in case they fail to reach the moon, and we can't lose to the Russians, so therefore we're going to film a backup version in, like in a studio, and this is going to be from the moon. And eventually, as the story goes in the movie, I finally watched it last night, that regardless if they made it or not, they were going to use that version. Was what they were going to do in the movie. But yeah, it was hilarious, and it was funny because I remember us talking about it 2 years ago when this movie first came out.
The name of that mission. You get to say the name of
well, that's the thing. It's like, so in the trailer, even in the trailer, he's telling Scarlett Johansson that we're going to fake this thing, and he throws down this like manila folder with top secret labeled on the top of it, and it says Project Artemis.
That's literally what it's called.
Project Artemis is what they're going to. They called the fake moon mission in that movie.
It's so crazy that they put this stuff, like, it's like, I don't know, man. It's just crazy that it's like they name it. It's like, and they release it on April Fool's Day. Like, are you kidding me? Like, at a certain point, you got to start questioning things. Space is fake and gay. And in fact, it's so gay. We're going to talk about this actually first before I release the book. By the way, guys, I have a book that I wrote that is now going to be out. Here it is. I'm giving you a sneak preview of the book. It's going to be on the website, and we're going to go through it. I'm going to show JT this book, and it is phenomenal. It really wakes people up. I've been waking people up.
You don't say so yourself.
Dude, at a certain point, I'm like, I'm actually proud of it. I'm like, dude, this is epic. Because, like, dude, I've been using it. I woke up some Mormons, bruh. I found some Mormons and went up to them and started. I was like, hey, let me show you some stuff. And they were like trying to, and by the end of it, they were like, oh my gosh. They're like, this is real. Like, this is like, why, what? Like, dude, totally. I love it. Anyway, so it's been fun. I've been experimenting on all kinds of people, and I'm going to share more details about the book, and it's going to be available on Demon Racer shop, so you guys can get it. I'm also going to make it like free to just download, and you can print it yourself or whatever if you want even. But if you want to support me, you can buy it. Awesome. Anyways, let me show you this though, because first, the Moon Museum. Let's just talk about how gay.
Are you are you muted?
JT's frozen.
Okay,
JT's frozen.
I was frozen.
You was frozen, bruh.
Hmm.
Was I frozen too?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I some got messed up.
Okay. Well, let's check this out.
Who froze, me or
Ready?
Brian?
Who froze first? Um,
Yeah,
Brian's good.
Brian, you were frozen.
Wait, somebody said I'm good too. I don't know.
I
Whatever.
think we're good now.
Brian was frozen. Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, I don't know what I was saying. I don't even remember. But we're going to talk about how gay space is first before we break into the book. The enemy does not want this book. I tried to put it online right now to before this thing so I could get it up, but it wouldn't even like work properly. Okay. So let's just talk about this. So if you just go ahead and type in Moon Museum, you're going to find the little chip that they put on the moon. And what is that right there, JT? What's that look like to you right
I mean,
there?
it looks like a, it looks like a
A
penis and
little,
balls.
a little chode. Like, let's type in the first televised photo of the Earth. I think it's of the Earth, right? This is the first televised photo of the Earth. What date does that look like? That says right there?
Yeah, it's April 1st.
April
April Fool's
1st.
Day.
April Fool's Day. When did they launch the Artemis project?
Well, Artemis 2 was
Same day,
launched on, yeah, April 1st. Yeah.
April 1st. So the first televised picture from space was on April Fool's Day because you got to be a complete fool to not believe it. Let's type in Mars rover tracks. Oh, wow. What's that look like? What's that look like right there?
That looks like something that would be drawn in some teenager's notebook.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Look,
Maybe
again,
might be
again.
carved into a desk in a
Yeah,
public
my
school.
exactly. This is the Mars rover. Like, and it's just comical that they put this like right and like they're laughing about this, guys. They're laughing in our faces because you guys don't see it. Like you just type in Mars rover tracks and look at this. This is the picture they put out. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
I saw you liked a video that was on Instagram and it was all about I guess the little dune buggy thing, whatever they were driving on the moon with.
uh-huh.
And it would probably be of course I would say that this thing would have the same problems. Like on Mars, what's powering this thing?
Oh yeah, the battery pack that's powering it supposedly. Yeah, it doesn't really work very well.
Yeah, don't you think like wouldn't the temperature
Hey,
swings on Mars be like super dramatic?
yeah, it would be ridiculously dramatic. I mean, well, not I mean, they're closer to the sun. So you would imagine,
No, Mars is
they're
further away.
or sorry, further away from the sun. So you would imagine it'd be like really cold, but it probably wouldn't get I don't know if it would get hot.
I think we looked it up before. I want to say that it was similar. Like it gets really hot there too, because what they say is obviously our atmosphere makes it not as hot here,
Yeah.
but over there it would be really hot if they had less atmosphere, and it would
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
be very cold.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
equipment really does not work well
And cold or hot.
in super cold temperatures.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got Moon Missum, and then we got what Blue Origin. Let's type about the Blue
Oh, you're
Origin.
talking about
So
Bezos's phallic shaped
like I mean, something's saying something here. I mean, like, why does the rocket ship look like a penis? Like, I mean, like, you really got to consider that that's probably done intentionally. And then obviously there's the space joke of this whole situation where she opened the door and it opens backwards, which cabin pressure would have just obviously told you that that wouldn't work. It would just have exploded the wrong way. So, anyway, so yeah, we've got this we've got Blue Origin. You know, another one that, the French guy left out, these are things French guy mentioned, but, SpaceX was named for sex, okay? So, SpaceX, um, you know, he literally said, like there's, like, some clip about it. So he named, there's Origin, marketed discussion potential unofficial, ticker symbol SX or SEX for future IPO. Okay. It's literally called SpaceX because it sounds like SpaceX. I mean, he named the company's Tesla's model, Tesla's, car model SEXY. Okay. So this is the car models Tesla Tesla car models are spelled SEXY, bro. Look,
Mhm.
SEXY. So, you know, why did he choose those letters? I mean, it's pretty obvious. He named it Model Sex and then E and then got the Y. And he got sued for doing Model E because literally they sued the thing or whatever. I don't even want to click on whatever that is. So let's not type that word in, apparently. Like, okay.
You know, I got one
So
too, Brian. I think I sent it to you and Aaron on our chat.
what was it? Share it.
Okay, check this out. Ooh.
Let me stop.
Okay, you got to stop sharing.
Wow. Wow. Projecting the rocket on the thing.
Yeah, on that giant phallic thing in DC.
Oh my gosh. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. The more I'm starting to think about the whole space thing, that it makes sense to me that those rockets probably don't have anybody on them.
Probably not, no.
You know what I mean? Like because they're just shooting a rocket up in this. Like what's the real difference between that, like in some ballistic missile, besides the size of it?
Yeah. Yep.
You know, because when what we're told is
Just doesn't blow up supposedly.
what we're told is that Werner von Braun worked for, obviously he was a German, and he was one of the people who created the V2 rockets. And
Yeah.
obviously the V2 rockets were like ballistic type missiles,
Hmm.
right? You know, like so obviously whatever powered them is the same thing. So they made a bigger one to go up to the moon. But I don't know, just everything about it just seems so dumb when you think about it that this thing shoots this giant rocket up and then obviously parts of it start to fall apart. And then it's left with this little thing that looks like a resembles like a butt plug that it's CGI that goes into outer space. And before you know it, it's just the tip. It's just the tip comes back.
Bro, it's so ridiculous. It's obviously ridiculous. Well, we can talk about Werner von Braun here in a second because, by the way, his name is not what people think it is. I'm going to tell you, Braun means okay, and then von means okay.
That was one thing. So I watched that movie. They Fly Me to the Moon last night with the family.
Mm-hmm.
And don't bother. It's boring. The main part about it, obviously the fake part is what we really want to watch, but it was way too long. Channing Tatum is terrible. I don't get it. I don't get his appeal. I mean, he's a terrible actor. I wanted to see more Woody Harrelson because he was actually good in this and he was playing a good character. Um, that being said, it's all about them trying to get to the moon, obviously, in the 1960s. And I felt like what was very obviously omitted from this was the Germans who were helping get the rockets to the moon. It was like Channing Tatum is like the guy who's the head of the control over at NASA and Cape Canaveral. You're like, but where's the smart people? Obviously, like
Mm,
the German guys, and yeah, and we know that he was he's the guy who's most credited with the Apollo missions, right? I mean,
mm-hmm.
isn't Werner von Braun when they talk about it,
Yeah.
you can't really talk about that without him. So Operation Paperclip, maybe that's the part of the
Oh,
story
that's
they really didn't want to tell
that. Oh, yeah. They're avoiding
because
that, I'm
because it's
sure.
kind of like in this movie, it's all like rah rah USA. But, part of the story is that it wasn't necessarily America's ingenuity that got us there. It was the Germans. It was the Germans from the 30s. They're the ones who helped build rockets.
Yeah.
Now, that obviously
Well,
that doesn't mean they got
mm,
to the moon with it, but it means that this guy knew how to build rockets. I'm pretty sure that those were real. I don't know how high they can go up and where they can go, but I mean, he built the rockets.
yeah. And here's Werner von Braun, just so you can see. It literally says Werner von Braun, political party, Nazi party. It literally says it right there on his stupid page. And Werner von Braun, I mean, I'm almost to the point where it's like they name these people like weird things. So his name is Werner Wiener. It's literally Wiener von
What do you
Braun.
mean it's Wiener though? Like, what is
That's
Wiener
his name,
in?
bro. Werner.
Yeah, I know,
Werner.
but Werner. But is Werner necessarily Wiener just because it sounds
Yeah,
similar?
it does. And von means from, and Braun means brown.
But
So
what is Werner? But
Wiener,
what is? But it's got an H in there too. You left out
yeah,
the H.
Werner. It's German, bro. Wiener. Okay, Werner. All right. What am I saying if I was German? Okay, I'm saying Wiener. Okay.
I don't know.
Wiener von Braun. That's Wiener of Brown, bro. Wiener from Brown. I think it's pretty gay sounding to me. Just saying. If that's your name, Werner of Brown, Wiener from Brown, Wiener of Brown. I don't know, man. It sounds gay to me. It just does. Sounds gay. And then here's Jack Parsons, who's also a part of a sex cult. By the way, pioneers Thelema occultism, and this is the other dude who helped to build the technology of the rocket ship, known as the Agape Loga Lodge, which is neighbors accused of black magic, ritual, sex orgies, including incidences with naked pagan pregnant women jumping through fire. Like, dude, bro, this is you can look this up. This is the dude that helped develop the technology that we have. And there's a book about it. Sex and Rockets, the occult world of Jack Parsons. You can look this all up, guys. It's not out there. Like this information's out there. And he was friends with Thelema and Aleister Crowley stuff, and also what's his name? L. Ron Hubbard, who's obviously a liar and a faker. Okay. There's books on sex magicians. Okay. There's literally this is the dude that they're telling you developed our rocket technology. Wiener of Brown and Jack
Werner
Parsons.
in Germany means
Warrior.
warrior or protector.
Yeah. Yeah. Protector of the Brown. Sure. Whatever. That's fine. Protector of the Brown. You can be the protector of the Brown. Either way, still means wiener. I don't know. I question it. So this is why it's like we bring in space and we start to question space. And then there's another I've got some video footage of the original moon landing footage. And it's like, people want to be like, one of my buddies is like, so how's your belief in not believing in space? It's fake and gay. And I just sent him footage of the rocket, like when the Apollo mission like took off off the moon. I just sent him the footage. I said, I bet you believe this too. That was all my response was.
You
And
know
then
what's
I was
funny?
like,
You know what's really
oh
funny though
man.
when they're showing images of the moon, typically when they're any kind of vantage point that they would show from, I guess, Artemis 2. You notice how the moon looks really small? It's so small that you
Mm,
can
mm,
see like 100% of all the curves and everything. It doesn't seem like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's something wrong about the scale of it because even when they show like the close up views of it, it looks really close, but it's really showing texture of how deep these, whatever like they call them like the seas of the moon are.
mm,
I mean, that's the one thing. It's funny. It was funny in that movie I watched last night that the director's like, "What's the moon's surface supposed to be like?" And
mm.
they're like, "Well, it's a big rock." And the guy's like, "Don't give me that." He's like, "Tell me. I want details. I got to be able to make this thing." And so it is pretty funny to think that whatever they guessed the moon's surface to be like, it was exactly like they figured it would be. Like,
Wow.
what are the odds really that they would be able to figure out exactly what the moon's surface was like until they got there?
I
You know what I'm
mean,
saying?
it does make you question. I mean, I know that the astronaut said that it was like, it looked like plaster of Paris.
But there's like It's kind of like when the video they have from the moon's surface, it's not dynamic at all. Because you could imagine if like you landed somewhere on Earth, it would, I mean, obviously it would be really big. I mean, it'd fill up 100%, but you can see like the horizon seems really close to where they're at, where it makes it seem like the moon's really small.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that, the thing is, compared to people, it would obviously be massive. And
Yeah.
it wouldn't you wouldn't be able to tell it's smaller than the Earth from the moon because it's so big,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess the whole thing about the moon is that if nobody knew any better, and I'm not saying we're wrong about this, like you would look up and you would see like the Bible describes, you have God made two great lights, a greater light to rule the day and a lesser light to rule the night. I don't know you would ever consider that you could go land on either one of them.
Yeah, it is
Like what
kinda
made you
silly.
think, "Oh, I'm gonna go land on that,"
I'm gonna
right? I don't know. Maybe it's just like it's just me. It seems like that. It seems like very that's quite an assumption that you could go land on it.
that is quite an assumption. Well, here, I'm gonna share some non-assumption footage of when we launched ourselves from this is some great footage. There's this channel I found, okay? And I shared it with you too, JT, on, Instagram or something, and the channel is entirely dedicated to old footage and stuff of the moon, and it's funny because they're promoting it as if like, "Look at this is amazing," and it's like it's the funniest thing to watch because the channel is, like, totally just causing people to doubt even more, okay? Because 'Cause they're putting up this footage of old stuff that they're like, "This was the
You see,
original
like no.
footage
See,
of
here's an
this."
example, Brian.
What?
Right there is from the vantage point of this camera set up by the lander.
Mhm.
Like that whatever that hill is behind there does not look massive like a mountain. It
No.
looks like a hill.
Yeah.
So you can't see anything past that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the depth in this?
Where's the distance? You could see things in the distance always.
You
Yeah.
should be able to see. I think that's my point I was getting at because it'd be like they're standing on the moon and you can see the edge like right
Yeah.
behind them.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And versus if you were
I
like
get what you mean.
if you were in Texas
You would see
and
in the mountains in the
you
range
would
in the
see
distance.
lots of things past there
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you can't see that here. You can only see this. And in
because
fact,
you know what? Because whatever studio they were in was only so big.
yeah, it was only yeah, it goes so far. And then look, guys, ready for this is the liftoff, which by the way, this was supposedly remote controlled by a individual that had a 5 to 11-second delay of their remote control, and they were able to film this and time it. Ready?
One, ignition.
Whoa,
Burn
look
away,
at
Houston.
those.
Vector good.
Oh my
Seamless.
gosh,
X-Thought.
those sparkles. And they timed that camera pan up perfectly
Good
from a
order.
remote control. Let's do that again. Let's do it again.
One, ignition.
Sparkles!
Burn
Look at
away,
I just love the
ignition.
sparkles. Look at those sparkles. Wow. What? Because that's how rockets sparkle.
Ignition. Burn
And then they
away,
just kind of
Houston.
float up
Vector
like
good.
that, right?
X-Thought.
So, they try to compensate. Did you know they try to compensate for the fact that this footage was, so obviously, manipulated and fake? So they try to compensate. But first, I'll show you their other footage here. So this one's great too, because this is
Okay, Mike.
oh wait, let's just play this. Let's just show you. Let's say that lunar module re-docking. Look at this. Real footage of the Apollo 11.
Houston.
Wait a second. Real footage of the Apollo docking after the lunar liftoff. Look at how this moves. So we're supposedly right now in the spacecraft that it's redocking them to. Okay, so there's one
Real
astronaut in the
again, like
spacecraft.
just what I've been saying.
Yeah,
Look how
and the
you
edge
can
of the
see
moon.
the edge
Yeah.
of the moon
Yep,
right there.
Yeah, that's it.
And so obviously they're super close. So
Yeah.
wouldn't the moon be filling up 100% of the camera?
Nope, they made it perfectly timed, JT, so that way you could see it exactly on the edge, dude. That was the perfect angle. That was what they were aiming for. But watch how unnatural. This thing is using jets to rotate itself and then just stopping, and it looks so just the movement is so unnatural. It's something you could only do with a stick or a hand on string. Like, watch. It just stops right there. And then it just rotates perfectly like that.
Eagle
And then it's just like
middle gimbal.
and look at it moving sideways like this.
We don't have him yet.
Look at it. There's nothing. If you had jets.
Mike, I'm just letting her hold attitude hold.
Oh, docking now. Let's just watch that one more time. Come on, Bryce. Come on, guys. Please. Please don't tell me you believe this. Do you believe this?
And you might pass to Columbia. We don't have him yet.
Look at that.
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
You've got to be freaking kidding me.
Mike, I'm just letting her hold attitude hold.
If you watched that just now and you think that that was real footage, that's what NASA told you. What on earth makes you think that the rest of the footage they put out is not real, or it is real?
See, what you would think, Brian, and I've made this point before, is that when you have like you're basically in some kind of vacuum, and right, propulsion would not work the same as it does on Earth. Like, it's kind of like when you watch a movie from outer space, and like once somebody starts floating off, it's like, how can you stop yourself? You can't like swim back in space, right? Because it's a vacuum, right? Like, so there's nothing to push off of, like it's in water. But this thing turns and it just stops. Like, what would stop it from continuing to tumble around?
That's the just that one video alone, that's not how things move in any water and anything that you've ever seen in your life. And that's
yeah,
not
like
how
you could imagine it'd be almost like with a boat.
Yes,
like a boat.
Yes.
Like if you're in the water, like if
you
you ever
ever
tried to dock a boat
perfectly.
If you ever have to dock a boat, like you have to have power to kind of adjust it. Because once you get it going in a direction, it starts to drift.
It's called objects in motion stay in motion. It's a law of physics, okay? And this does not apply to the law of physics because it's not in motion. It's being controlled. That's why it moves like that. Objects in motion stay in motion. So objects that are controlled, I can turn this and go because it's in control. So I can stop it at a hair and spin it like this. But if it was in motion and I spun it, there's no way it will move and it will slow down to the stop. Okay. It has what's called an easing time. And that like it will move and it will rotate and it won't go fast and stop. It'll go fast, slow, stop. That's called objects in motion stay in motion.
Yeah, you'd almost think that if it was real, it would have to propel itself, and then it'd have to almost like use like the reverse to kind of steady itself. Like it would have to, it would be kind of doing this motion. They'd have to put power. Yeah, like I said, just like in a boat where sometimes you have to go forward, then you have to reverse the jets or reverse your propellers in order to steady it. But that's like it's just moving like a video game.
Exactly. It's insane. It's completely ridiculous. Now wait, watch this. I've got more. Ready? So I love this website, this thing I found because they just
on August 2nd, 1971.
So here's the footage of the Apollo 15 because of that first clip that I showed you how fake it looked. They had to compensate. So they compensated on Apollo 15's message. And they tried to show you because everybody was like, how did they pan the camera up when the thing took off? And everybody questioned it. So then they had to do this.
On August 2nd, 1971, Apollo 15's ascent stage lifted off from the lunar surface, a historic moment that nearly went unrecorded. NASA had stationed a remotely operated TV camera at Hadley Base to capture the event, but an operator timing error caused the camera to tilt downward at the critical moment, missing the initial ignition and blast. It briefly caught the module already rising before losing it against the black lunar sky.
Wow. Did you know that? So like it launched and they because the first one was so perfectly timed and everybody started questioning it, they had to do a second one and then correct and then fail. So that way people will be like, yeah, you're right. It would fail.
Capture the event. But an operator timing error caused the camera to tilt downward at the critical moment.
Not only tilt, not timing, but tilt downward. So
missing the initial ignition and blast.
The operator.
It briefly caught the module already rising.
But you still
lunar
see the
surface.
Sparkles. I love the sparkles.
Stage lifted off from the lunar surface. A historic moment that nearly.
That's
You know
so
what?
funny.
You know what's
They
the thing
compensated.
that I picked up last night when I was watching that movie was, okay, so the movie's basically 100% of it is, well, not 100%, but 99% of the movie set in Florida, because that's
Mhm.
where the NASA, wherever their base was or whatever they were doing the stuff, and that's where they fire off the rockets, like Cape Canaveral.
Yeah.
I think that's where it is, right? Well, it's funny. So as soon as the rocket got liftoff, the guys are taking their headsets off. All
Mhm.
right, Houston, you've got it. Okay, so they're doing all the stuff in Florida, but as soon as the rocket's in the air, so that's why, like, you get the whole famous from Apollo
Houston, we
13,
got a problem.
Houston, we've got a problem, because they're communicating with Houston and
But
not
it's going the
Florida.
opposite direction.
I was like, what is Houston closer to the moon than Florida is?
Good
Like,
dude, what the heck?
Like, I'm saying, like, and this is, I think this
Well,
goes
wait a
into the
second.
heart.
If the rocket is launching and it's curving around the Earth, it's going away
It's
from
going, yeah,
Houston.
because it goes toward the
going
Bermuda Triangle.
It's going
It
to Bermuda Triangle. That's, by the way, we've already established all rockets go to, you should play that. Can you play that video for everyone too? Again, the Bermuda Triangle, blow me to Bermuda. You
Oh,
gotta play
okay,
that.
yeah,
You gotta play that
I'll
one
play
again.
that. Yeah, by the way, yeah, on the JT's mixtape, we go through a lot of this stuff. The newest one coming out on Monday. But what I was saying though, but if you think about it, like, so this comes to the heart of the matter of, like, the NPCs or the normies still say, well, how could they fake it? Because there's obviously thousands of people involved in this. And we pointed out that, like, NASA, like a lot of these big organizations, is very compartmentalized, right? So these people have a very specific duty, like all these different people who have no idea what they're doing. They have one specific job, and they're watching this one monitor. So the people in Florida just fire the rocket off, and then the people in Houston are the ones who are supposed to monitor where the rocket's at. So the people in Houston didn't see the rocket actually even go up off the ground.
No.
Don't you think, like, that's how these people could be deceived?
Deceived. Yeah, they're totally deceived. Absolutely deceived.
So
They
yeah,
didn't see it
the
at
point
all.
is, like, I'm just saying, like, I wonder what their explanation is, like, why they wouldn't want to pass it off to anyone when
Well,
these are the people who built the rockets, these are the people who train the astronauts, these are the people who have done all the tests with them, and then they're passing off all communications to
to this
Houston.
other group of people.
And
Yeah.
is it because it lands in Houston one day? No, it doesn't, because it lands in the ocean, and then they have to go scoop them up.
Bro, it's so funny how compartmentalized they make things, and that's how you know something's controlled, when it's all compartmentalized like that. You know it's under control systems. And so, like, it launches it though up and over to the other direction,
You want me
not
to find
towards
that? You want me to find
Houston.
that video?
Dude, yeah, and it not towards Houston. So what's happening is it's going that way. And so since it's going that way, it's not going towards Houston. And if supposedly the rotation of the Earth, that would make Houston further away from the rocket, which would be harder to stay in communication with, because it's up in the air and it needs direct line of sight. And this is how things communicate.
Mhm.
So that's not possible. Like, it makes worse logical sense to even do such a thing. It makes worse logical sense. And then JT, you pointed out this. I realize you didn't play it on the other show. Do you want to wait? You don't have to play it on here because you have it on your show. But
We can play it on there, but we can play it here.
Okay.
But so anyways, what a lot of people say that who have looked into this stuff, we've made the connections between Florida, obviously being in a very close proximity to what's called the Bermuda Triangle, this mysterious place where ships get lost and planes go missing and all this stuff. And so this is interesting. So the connection between, like, Werner von Braun and Walt Disney, they were like buddies. And then, Disney World and where NASA was headquartered, very close in proximity. So Werner von Braun was on Disney's, the Disney Channel or the Disney, whatever that was, all the time back in those days. And so this was interesting. So this movie, a Disney movie that came out in, what did we say? It was like 1960 something.
60, yeah, so 60 something.
It might have been 1959. But this scene right here, I think it's pretty telling.
To be. I'm nobody. You don't know a thing about what's going on today. I'm lucky to be Kay Squire. Oh, of all the idiotic guys, blow me to Bermuda.
Like, look at it, look at the rocket go.
Bermuda, I suppose. Where's that? Oh, an island way off somewhere that hasn't been discovered yet. Will he ever come back? Who knows? Who knows anything? Maybe.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, like, but why? But yeah, the question is like, why would that have been a thing? Like, why would they? Like, why would he turn into a rocket and go to Bermuda?
I don't know. That I mean, it's pretty to me, it's pretty funny because it's literally like, it's so obvious. Like
Yeah,
they're
if it's
like
not what
warning
we're
us.
saying, like that's if it's what we're saying, it makes perfect sense. If it's not what
Yeah.
we're saying it makes zero sense because even in the movie, it's this island that hasn't been discovered yet.
Yep. Let me show you guys something else. Different than Christians enforced in the 13th century. Okay, and I want to show you something about that hat. That hat that he's wearing, by
The
the way,
wizard hat.
guys. The wizard hat. If you guys don't know what that actually is, it's called a Juden hut. And that's originally what it was. All right. And so I'm just going to share this very fascinating fact, which, by the way, this is in my book. We talk about this. So this is the Juden hut. This is the wizard's hat. The Juden hut, or the Jewish hat, was a mandatory pointed worn by Jewish men in medieval Europe practicing in Germany, particularly in German lands, to differentiate them from Christians. So this is called the Juden hut. By the way, the Juden hut is where we get the witch's hat from. Look, bro. Look at this. Why does this come up when you type in Juden hut?
Mm.
And so like the Juden hut is a pointed hat. It was worn as a punishment it's where you get like the dense cap,
Oh
the
yeah, the
dense
dunce
hut,
cap. Yeah,
the dense hat. Yeah.
yeah. The dunce cap is identical to the wizard cap.
Yeah. And you got to ask yourself, why is the dunce hat the same thing as the wizard's hat and same thing as the witch's hat? Bro, it was a punishment because you look stupid. Like, and it was like literally worn to show that you are been convicted of sorcery, of witchcraft, and of magic, or you were expelled, which means kicked out for doing witchcraft, by the way. Expelled. Okay. So they were instead of being that, they had to wear these funny little hats. These are all Jews, by the way. These are images of Jews. This is Judaism right here. So like this is what doing their witchy Jewish practices here. So this is all that's where that hat comes from. It's called the Juden hut, the original witch's hat. Isn't that funny? And it's so fascinating and just it's so obvious when you start to recognize it. Anyways, this is one
I
more
got a quick
video.
one before you go to another video.
Oh yeah, sure.
I just wanted to ask you something about this. I was thinking about this as somebody was clowning on all the women astronauts to go up into space.
Oh,
They
the
have
hair.
their hair stand straight up. And so we've talked about this, and I think we
Mhm.
talked about this on the mixtape that's coming out, that what you'd expect actually if you did have zero gravity or less gravity, your hair would behave more like it's in water.
Yeah.
So like when you're in water and you're staying still, nobody's hair stands straight up,
Mm-hmm.
right? And actually,
No.
eventually your hair comes down to. I mean, obviously, if you were going down into the water, like if you were heading down, right, your hair would likely go up because of
Mhm.
the force of the water propelling your hair up, right?
Yep.
So why the heck does your hair stand straight up? Because what they're actually showing you is not no gravity. They're showing you that gravity is this way.
It's that way. It's some way.
Right,
Direction.
wouldn't eventually, if like somebody was chilling in the space capsule or whatever they are on their spaceship, wouldn't eventually the hair just kind of just come to rest,
Yep.
regardless
Yeah.
if there was gravity or not?
It would come to some thing.
It wouldn't stand straight. I mean, the point is, it wouldn't stand straight up, because if it stood straight up, then you know what the astronauts would be doing? They'd be pinned to the top of wherever they were at. Because they
Yeah.
would, what's stopping them from being lifted all the way up too?
Yeah, obviously.
You know what I'm saying? Like if the hair is
Yep.
going up, what's stopping them from being stuck to the ceiling?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
so
it's very
so my conclusion has been, or at least one of my theories is, besides the wires,
yeah.
sometimes I do believe they might be filmed upside down. Like they might have wires that are holding them up, on the top of it. The camera's reversed.
Yeah.
And their hair, that's why if you look at their face, sometimes it looks like you can kind of see like the blood vessels in their face. It looks like they're upside down.
Yeah, I see what you mean, because they kind of look like they're like holding their breath or something almost.
Right, because like I said, like what somebody's face looks like when they're upside
Yeah.
down for a while.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're right. Totally see what you
Because
mean.
otherwise, yeah, your hair would eventually come to some kind of a rest down. And then if you moved, your hair would move like you were in water.
Yeah.
It would go to side, and it probably would rarely go all the way up.
Yeah. It's definitely not natural how we see it.
It's theater. It's theater. It's obviously theater.
Yeah, and like you can see like gravity still exists and it pulls on you when you're in some kind of space. So they're trying to simulate a reality that is not, what it is. But like you can see right here, look at this. So like I'll just show this here. So you can see like look at this woman's hair in a plane. Okay, and her hair in a plane.
But you see how it comes to rest back down too?
Yeah. Because gravity's still pulling down to some degree, even though she's in a plane, she's floating in 0 Gs. Like, look at it, just kind of like, but it moves a little bit more natural. So like when you see it, unlike when you see it on the people's hair there, it's like their hair does not move like it's natural at all. And so like her hair moves in a kind of flowy way. It's hard to see it. They don't really show enough of it. They don't want you to see it. Probably.
You get it though, but you can see like her hair was moving around, but unless something was propelling them up, the hair does not go up.
Yeah,
it goes more like side to side.
Yep, and so it's like it
water.
doesn't
like water.
Yeah, exactly. And so it flows more like it should flow more like in water. And so, but for whatever reason in space, women's hair flows like I don't know, hairspray.
Well, it's the other thing too is when we were showing of course another teaser for the mixtape that's coming out. I'm sure a lot of people have already seen it. The Nutella floating across
the
spaceship, right? All of a sudden Nutella a container of Nutella just comes perfectly right into camera view, just like it was sponsored, like it was the Truman Show or something.
It was so funny.
So the thing is, if this container of Nutella was sitting someplace, what's causing it to go across the ship?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if it was sitting someplace, like why isn't everything floating around there?
No, yeah, I totally agree.
There's something would have had to push it in that direction
pushed it.
to get it to go float. Otherwise, it would have came to rest at some point.
Absolutely. Now here's another clip. I'm going to share this one too. So I've got another clip of us, docking into the moon with actual audio.
Okay, Mike.
Oh, look.
I'll try to get position here. Then you got it.
Oh, this is it, rising off the lunar surface, JT. Look at it.
Roll attitude look.
It's coming close. Oh, look at it. Look at it move. Oh my gosh, look at how they're. Oh wow, look at those jets.
In fact, I could stop right here if you like that.
Oh, you can stop right there.
Eagle Houston, middle gimbal, and you might pass to Columbia. We don't have him yet.
That's right.
Wow, look at that. Did you see that whole maneuver, man? That is.
I'm not going to do a thing, Mike. I'm just letting her hold attitude.
We're talking space maneuver ability.
It's very clearly just a little model.
Yeah, it's so Mike, very clearly it's a model. Like, I mean, just look at this coming up. Like, it's just so.
How does the roll attitude
look at it shake even. It shakes like a string. Look at that. Look at the little shake.
I'll stop. In fact, I can stop right here if you like that.
Wow.
Eagle Houston, middle gimbal.
And there's the moon. Look at the moon surface coming. JT, look at how cool that is.
Right.
Look at it. You can tell that we're moving across the moon's surface, bro, because look at it
I'm not going
rotating.
to do a thing, Mike. I'm just letting
That's
her
a
hold
big.
attitude.
They were probably very proud of their movie magic, honestly, with whoever did that.
Well, I mean, again, you think about it. This happened in late 60s, early 70s is when supposedly they're filming this stuff. And it's not as good as Star Wars. Because Star Wars didn't come out until 1977.
Yeah.
So if they would have faked this stuff back in the early 80s, they probably would have had the Millennial Falcon or something like that.
Yeah. They would have had something even better.
They would have had some, I mean, honestly, I do think that that's been my theory about the whole reason all the moon landing stuff stopped was because TVs were getting better
Mm-hmm.
and people were starting to notice, and people probably have a reference point to these science fiction movies, and they're like, this looks fake as can be. This doesn't even look as good as, this looks less real than the Star Destroyer at the beginning of Star Wars when Darth Vader goes in and makes his
It
appearance.
did
No, I
look,
mean,
it
like,
does look less real.
not even close. I mean, it's not even close. You like watch a movie from another movie from the 70s, the first Alien movie. Wait, but I think that's the best one. But when they start showing like the ships and stuff in that, like who's that? Who's the director of this Alien franchise?
I
forget
his name. I know who you're talking about. but I don't know.
Doesn't matter. But I mean, like those things are legit looking. I mean, they look real. Other than the fake alien at the very end when he goes out into outer space, the rest of it looks super real. And that was one of the funniest parts. It was supposedly a comedy that Fly Me to the Moon. The funniest part in the whole movie was at the end was the idea that they had an alternate version, but they were actually filming the real version on the moon. And Woody Harrelson just starts to say, he's like, that's real? He's like, that looks so fake. So Woody Harrelson, I mean, so like, I think what the movie is actually trying to say is, yes, they did fake some stuff, but they actually did go. So
Yeah,
like what the
right,
movie is trying to
right.
imply that regardless whether they went or they not and they succeeded, they were going to show the public the
Fake
recorded
footage.
version that they did in a studio. And so I think that's kind of the implication. I think that's the subtle message there is even if the
So
stuff you saw
dumb.
was fake, they actually went, they just couldn't film it right.
Yeah, right.
And actually I've heard people say that they say that, yeah, I do actually believe that the footage is fake, but they actually did go.
They actually went, but the footage is fake. Right. Okay. That's good. That's a good belief. I
No,
have
mean,
a completely different belief
but I
for
think
them.
that's. I'm not saying I believe that, but I'm
No, of
saying
course
that makes sense. That would put it this way. That would be a more convincing argument
Bro.
than to gaslight us and say that this is real footage because it doesn't look real at all. And that's famously Elon Musk says
that is just
it's real because it looks so fake.
Yeah, because it looks so fake. That is just such a completely like mind asinine belief. It's just like you're just literally just trying to gaslight people into saying, yeah, the footage is but we really did go. We just had to fake the footage. Like it's like, bro, are you freaking kidding me? Like, are you freaking kidding me? This is ridiculous. Okay, so the thing is, the footage is fake. I'm of the belief that they are in a 0G space. And that's because of this one thing, which I'll just share this too, because like this is what I believe. This, just so you guys know, this is my belief. We are in 0G space because look, this is in the 70s. We were floating, or was it 90s or 70s? I forget. But we were floating frogs in zero gravity. Okay. And he literally, like, this is literally floating these frogs here.
Don't touch anything, please.
Floating in cricket or whatever. And he says something
There
right
is no
here.
problem with putting a man, to force a man by this magnetic levitation to fly in the air. So technically, we can do it with you without any problems.
So
I don't know. It almost looks like a wind tunnel though that they're in.
It almost looks like what?
Like they're in some kind of little wind tunnel.
As you see, it's alive and moving quite.
Nah, it's floating. Because look, even if it was wind, then the feathers on this little thing would just be blowing off. Like
yeah, but I mean, a wind tunnel is not wind necessarily coming in one direction. It could be coming in lots of directions.
Yeah, this is it.
So this is just magnetic levitation. So this is magnetic levitation that was doing. They were doing this in like the at least the 90s. And so they were doing this probably before. And so they were using giant electromagnets to basically create their own magnetic interference space where they could basically float things in 0G. So they were able to do this way back then. What on earth? And that's it. You stop hearing about that technology after it came out. So what on earth makes you think that they stopped doing it? You would be completely a fool to think that they didn't push that to the extreme to create a whole anti-gravity chamber. Like there's probably anti-gravity chambers. And the thing is, like the hair on the people, the reason why it acts so unnatural is because it creates its own static electric field. Hair does. That's why you like rub a balloon and it goes all over the place, right? On your head. And so like that kind of effect is literally going to create an environment where hair doesn't behave naturally. So that's why they have to, for the women's hair, they had to hairspray them. I wish I could find that clip of the woman originally, the first woman in space with her hair sprayed up. You know what I mean? That
You know what? You know, another thing that people have pointed out is that the male astronauts, they've got like the cleanest shave like the whole time they're there. You ever notice that? I guess
So
they
they're just
show
shaving
every now
every
and then they
day?
show them like using like an electric razor or something. But you're only going for like a week. Like they were talking about like they needed to measure every gram of weight they've got there. Like really they need to be shaving the whole time they're there. It's only a week.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I
But they
wouldn't
got
shave.
like smooth as a baby's bottom, like skin on around where they're like even like the next day, like these people don't ever look like they have stubble or anything.
I don't know. I don't know why they
Sus.
do that. I think it's very obviously questionable. And so I think a lot of it is just at a certain point you got to be like, okay, this can't be, you can't just believe everything they're telling us. So I don't know. I think it's just all completely ridiculous. And then people today are like, but look at the footage and look at they're coming in, bro. Do you know how much we've progressed in manipulation and tactics and AI and like, bro, what if they faked it back then? What makes you think they wouldn't fake it now?
Well, that's one of the defenses by these people. It's like, oh, well, they didn't just so you think it was fake, but they went 5 or 6 times. You're like,
Yeah.
well, but what is that? What kind of how's that a defense at all? If they can fake it one time, they can fake it. They're probably faking it better each time because the very first time was completely asinine.
Yeah.
So of course they would get a little better at it.
So this woman, she looks like she's upside down, like you were saying, JT. Like she looks like she's hanging upside down.
Yeah, look at her like her eyes.
Yeah.
Doesn't you know, you got like this pressure on your face. Like look at her face, look at how red it looks.
Yeah. It's definitely unusual. And so like, I mean, it looks like
she's upside down and it looks like they kind of got like a slow motion effect on her.
Maybe. I mean, it's like the hair though, it is a little bit more naturally less hairspray looking.
Well, you know, what we said on the podcast too is that what makes sense that
they got it more
like
natural.
I'm sure there's a lot of women in the chat, and when they go work out or they go run or something like that, what do? A lot of them put their hair in a bun.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants hair in your face when you're doing something serious. So why wouldn't you put your hair in a bun? Because again, it's for effect. They want you to see the hair because the hair makes people think they're floating.
Bro, what was that? What was the astronaut one where there's like the 5 of them and that one woman used to have that hairspray, stiff, straight up hairspray?
I'm not exactly sure about that one. You know, it's funny. Another thing that people have been saying that the people who are like the defenders of this crap, they were saying that how can some of this stuff be fake? Because, well, what are the deniers going to say when they come back into the atmosphere? And you're like, so just because the capsule came down into the ocean, that's supposed to mean that they went all the way to the moon.
Yeah, bro. Obviously, they put them in a plane and dropped them.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think here's the French guy. I don't know if it's worth even playing his audio since he doesn't speak the same language as us. But check this out.
Okay.
He kind of shows a little bit of it. I wonder if he's got the translations on.
Que les astronautes sont dans une capsule de feu à 40 000 km/h. Et comme par hasard, au moment le plus critique, blackout. Et à la place, on nous sert cette simulation, suivie de quelques glitches. Peut-être parce qu'en fait, elle a été parachutée par un avion cargo, ce qui expliquerait pourquoi on n'a pas de vapeur à l'atterrissage. En 10 jours, on a eu des glitches pendant les lives, des fonds qui deviennent transparents, avec des marqueurs de suivi. D'ailleurs, ce live a été supprimé par la NASA. Sur ce sachet, on a un marqueur rouge qui disparaît. C'est un repère de tracking utilisé pour coller un objet 3D. Ici, la peluche n'a pas d'ombre. Et les vêtements de Christina ont des gros bugs. Et visuellement, soit des vidéos floues et déformées, soit des images de synthèse beaucoup trop nettes. Des fois sans étoiles, des fois avec, parce qu'ils ne se sont pas encore mis d'accord depuis 1969.
Oh yeah, this is funny.
C'est pour ça qu'il demande de l'aide à son coéquipier. Un peu comme Don Petit, regardez Mike. Parce qu'au final, tout dépend du designer. L'espace est fait dans un logiciel de création 3D. Tu fais une sphère, tu ajoutes de la texture, puis des vecteurs et de la lumière. Un amateur te fait ce genre de rendu pour $100. Alors imagine ce que la NASA fait pour 25 milliards par an.
Yeah, very obvious. At a certain point, you got to realize it's so obvious. They're obviously dropping him from a plane and the
I mean, she could just drop him from a plane with a parachute. That would make a lot more sense how they could do it.
Yeah, easily.
Because it's funny, he was saying that, so they have a visual of this thing coming back, which I don't know why they don't have a full continuous video of them re-entering the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Right? Because if they can have all these other videos and you have these high-powered telescopes, they can't pinpoint when to video this. With our satellites, even like the Starlink telescope or satellites that are up on balloons, they could record lots of this stuff.
Oh yeah,
but they don't. They use animation, and then there's a 6-minute blackout, and then before you know it, they're in the ocean.
Yeah, 6-minute blackout for what purpose exactly?
Well, the whole thing is that when you're watching even the takeoff, somebody made a funny video on Twitter about this when he was saying the director who's telling him to switch between shots is like, is there really any good explanation why you wouldn't just hold the one shot as long as you could? But it's like, it's going from the rocket in at a distance, then they're going right to the propulsion. They're showing the fire coming out, the exhaust, right? Where it's coming off. And then it glitches, it goes black, and then they go back to something else. Space might be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. Because otherwise, there's no reason to cut away. There's no reason to cut away from any of it. And there's no reason to not have, if you can do it, cameras all over the rocket the whole time.
Yeah. Yep. Now I'm going to show this video because this one's good too. I just got to show this. And everybody wants to be like, whoa, the Artemis, the footage and the videos that they're getting. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. JT, have you seen how epic it looks? Wow, it's so amazing. Check this out. Check this one out. So I shared this one, and this is a guy, Artemis versus my telescope. Like, I love this.
We need a David Shane.
Yeah, right. Look, this is Artemis photo. This is his telescope. Artemis, his telescope. Same thing. Artemis, look, he finds the same picture, and his telescope actually has higher resolution than the Artemis photo.
That's what I'm saying.
The same space. Now, ask yourself, why was the same photo taken from the Artemis spacecraft looks exactly the same? He found the same location. And you got to ask yourself, are they even, like, did they take a photo? Like, I messaged you. I was like, bro, please, you need to tell us if any of the images are actually taken from the dark side of the moon. Artemis is bullcrap. Like, so that way he can like look and see, are any of the images they released from the other side of the moon? Because if they're not, and he could just find them all, then all we did was zoom in on a telescope. Like,
well,
look,
you know, the other thing
Artemis,
about how a telescope works, how a telescope would work is that your telescope needs to be very still to get those images like that. Now, supposedly, the Artemis 2 only got within 4,000 miles of the moon's surface.
Look at this image. Yeah, look at how fuzzy this is.
And it's going thousands of miles an hour around this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, would you be able to get as crystal clear images from this thing going this fast?
Dude, no. Look at this image right here, though. Look at this. And then look at this next image. Look at that. That's his telescope. It's better.
Mm-hmm.
So like, dude, literally it's better. So
That's what I'm
I
saying. I
don't
guess that's the
know.
whole point of all this stuff is that even if you believe they win, is like, what was the point?
Yeah.
To give us images that are not as good as the ones we can get with an amateur telescope?
Yeah.
Like I said, David Shane, my buddy, in Carolina, I went out to his property, and we were filming all kinds of stuff with his, because he's got the really, really high power. Amateur is probably not the right word. He's got basically like professional type telescopes, and he's got the software to film the stuff at the same time. The stuff that he can show from the stuff in the cosmos is insane.
Mm.
So why would you just go within 4,000 miles only to give
Yeah,
you the
if you
same
can,
stuff you can get from Earth?
that just, yeah, it seems like a complete
This is why.
nonsensical thing. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
This is why, because big business in this.
Yep, exactly. Well, dude, I wanted to show this book to you, bro, but I just feel like we just spent this whole time talking about space stuff, and I feel like maybe we have to do another episode, and then I'll share the book with you, because this is
Why
not.
don't you just give us a little preview of it?
I mean, I gotta walk you through it, and it'll only take like maybe like 30 minutes or something, but maybe we'll make it another episode. How about we stop it and then I'll just do another episode? Can I do that? Do you have more time? Can I do that for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because I want to make it about this totally, because then people can just share this video, because I don't want people that are like moon theorists to be like,